All right, great. Well, pleasure to be here. Yeah, I love doing these events, especially on a day like today. We've obviously got some major sell side activity in the markets, and a lot of you are probably wondering how to navigate this. Happy to take any tickers if you want to throw those in the chat. I'll run my chart analysis, and I'll talk a little bit about what key metrics I look at, what indicators and tools I use. So if you guys want to just throw anything in the chat, I'll get that pulled up. And while you're doing that, I will just kind of give you a kind of quick overview of what I'm currently looking at. We've obviously got, as I mentioned, some major selling going on today. We had NVIDIA earnings, which probably trapped a lot of people. On the long side, stock gapped up. I'll pull up a chart here real quick. On the top and bottom line earnings beat and strong forward guidance. Interestingly, I and we for those of you who don't know, I run a live trade room, and we actually had a bearish play on NVIDIA for today, and set that up so that even though the stock gapped higher, we're expecting that to sell off. And so one of the things we look at is options order flow. And what would have saved you from getting trapped on this is on the long side is was the options order flow is actually quickly turning bearish during the session today. And we previously had some strong sell signals on that. This is one of our proprietary algorithms built into our Zillion dashboard. Uh, so this is largely what, caused the ripple effect across markets today, the broad-based selling. Um, and Let me go back over to the cues. We can look at some of the major indices, which from our algorithms, all pretty much all have sell signals on them from back near all-time highs. We had a big sell signal come in on the cues back on October 31st. That was only, I believe, a couple days after the all-time high in the cues. Look at the SPY here. So we've had a number of sell signals on the S&Ps as well. Had also had one come in, and those are the white diamonds you see above the candle. That indicates a sell forecast, and then the down red arrows with the sells indicate a triggered entry. That just indicates that it reached our suggested entry price. Um, and so yeah, looks like we got one on the SPY October 31st as well. Um, and then before we get to any tickers, the other thing that you'll notice on the chart are red and green clouds. These are bullish and bearish divergence clouds. So they indicate bullish and bearish divergence. So we typically see the asset move up inside bullish divergence and down inside bearish divergence. We've had strong bullish divergence in, of course, broader markets. And here, looking at the S&Ps, the SPY, since markets bottomed in April, but that disappeared around the middle of October, which can be a warning sign market structure is shifting and potentially rolling over. And we did have a nice little buy signal there outside of bullish divergence, but then ultimately rolled over, started rolling over towards the end of October. All right. So let's see. Go ahead and throw your tickers in chat. Anything you want me to pull up and analyze, I'd be happy to do that. The other thing we look at are, supply and demand levels, so support and resistance. And today's critical because we are trading down on a closing basis at key levels of support in pretty much all the major index products. So again, looking here at the SPY, we're down at critical support around the 650 handle. One of the major things I've been looking at is the October 10th lows, which on the SPY we're at 652.84, so close to that 650 handle. And we've taken those out to the downside just slightly. In fact, let's see, we closed, so this was a 650. 302 close. So we got a close on the SPY just slightly below that October 10th close. If we sustain price action below this October 10th low, I suspect we could see more downside in the market. So that's going to be, I think, a critical pivot. All right, let's see. Kumar put in UAL, so that's United Airlines. All right, so let's see. Currently, we're in bearish divergence inside United. And by the way, so we have two proprietary indicators here: the divergence clouds, and then the trade trend indicator. I like to look for signals that correspond, so buy or sell signals that correspond with the bullish or bearish divergence, and then I consider any signal inside or that contradicts. So a buy signal inside bearish divergence, counter trend. But those can still be some good opportunities. There's a couple of nice counter trend buy signals in here. Let's see. But with that said, we actually had a sell forecast on United that came in on November 17th. And let's see, it looks like we're again in bearish divergence. Um, the Let me zoom out a little bit here. Looks like there's some minor support down here around roughly the 88.50 handle. Um, that's probably the level I would watch. Let's see, maybe even down closer to 88. I'm just looking at some prior support back here in July. For support, if that breaks down, the next major level I would watch, which is prior resistance from back in June, is down around the 85 handle. So there is some significant resistance again back in June, and then there was also a pretty well-defined consolidation channel here that broke out in around mid-July. And interestingly, the on the gap higher intraday that day on July 10th, that prior resistance was tested here. You can see that and that daily session low there. And then ultimately a support retest, parabolic up move into the next area of resistance. You can see all that back here in January. The 110 level, that's where the next directional move took place. That was obviously a leg down. And I would consider that a trend change at that point. Again, we had transition from bullish to bearish divergence. This is now a well-defined downtrend. And I'll just annotate this for you. Okay, so now making a series of lower highs and lower lows. Okay, so again, if that roughly 80, 88, 50, 88 level breaks, look for a rotation down into roughly the 85 handle, which again will be your next area of support. All right, let's see what the next one is. We had MAR. Let's see if this one's in our. All right, so this is Marriott. Looks like a potentially a head and shoulders pattern here. So resistance up around 292. That was a left shoulder. Looks like late last year. There's the head, and then that resistance was retested earlier in November. And then we also have a forecasted sell signal here. Look, it hasn't reached the suggested entry price. That's, by the way, provided. Let me escape out of here. And it actually expired today. Our forecasts are good for up to 3 days or three candles on a daily time frame. So that one is expired, but entry would have been down below the low of that daily session. Um, but over the past week or so is consolidating above support. So this pivot from mid-July, see it there. That's going to be around the 282, 283. You can see that on the breakout here in early November, it was retested as support. So I would look for that roughly, again, maybe 282, 283 area to hold, and we're right there. And if that holds a support, look for a leg higher. If it breaks down, there's not much. There's a pivot here on from July 28th, but not much in the way of support till, and this is all prior resistance down closer to the 274, 275 area. So if this support area breaks, I would look for a rotation down into that level. Don't currently, we had some, it's probably too faint to see on your end, but some bearish divergence here in August, but don't currently have any divergence at the moment. So let's go on to UNH. United Health. All right. So it looks like we have an open sell signal right now. We just came out of bullish divergence and some nice buy signals there. Got a sell signal right out of bullish divergence late October. Nice down move, then a little bit of a counter trend buy. We're back into an open sell signal. Now I can show you this above the chart. When you go into the main dashboard, will show you where the suggested entry prices are, your stop, the algorithmic stop losses, and all that. So let's take a look here. And this is kind of the case with a lot of not just the major indices, but a lot of the individual components. We're finding there are some pretty critical either support or resistance levels. A lot of them now support with the recent leg lower in markets, but looks like the case with United as well. There's some pretty strong support down around the 310 level. So this is all prior resistance from back in May, June, all the way into August. Broke out early September, retested, dipped a little bit below, looks like in yesterday's session, and has recovered back above that 310 level. So I'd watch that area for support. And perhaps yesterday's session low, break from there. I think there's a lot of downside potential, but if 310 can hold, perhaps could catch a bid and rotate back to the upside. And that's the level I'd watch on that one. Let's see. Next one was from J Bow is SMR. So this is a New Scale Power, which has sold off very hard in November. We have bearish divergence here, and we actually have an open sell signal on this one. So the sell forecast came in on November 6th. Looks like entry was at just a couple ticks below 32. So this is a very nice sell signal. It's still open, and you'll notice that there are horizontal red dashes here. These are trailing stops. So the indicator has a trailing stop algorithm that gauges the trend strength, momentum, and volatility. Does a nice job at locking in profits on directional trades before you get reversed and whipsawed. So yeah, we have an open sell signal with entry up around the 32 handle. Um, Looks like this one could be coming back down to test April lows. Let's take a look here. We've got some pretty significant support down between roughly 17, looks like maybe closer to 19, 1950, even maybe closer to 20. So we're entering into this support zone. This is how I identified that. So again, the lower range of the support zone's down around the 17 handle. So I would watch if this continues to rotate lower going into tomorrow, watch for support around 17. But if that breaks to the downside, doesn't look like there's much in the way of support till maybe around the 14, between the 11 and 14 handles. So pretty parabolic leg lower here without much of a pullback. So this is the zone I would look for potential bids and rotation higher. But if that again breaks somewhere between 11 and 14 would be a good price target. All right, let's go to the next one. See, I kind of lost my place here. Okay, that was SMR. XLE. Mike put in XLE. Oops. This is the Spider Energy ETF. All right, we have a pending sell signal from yesterday. So forecasted sell. It has not yet reached a suggested entry price, which is at 88.82. But I think actually a good sell signal. We don't have any bullish or bearish divergence at the moment. Uh, we're in strong bullish divergence. You can see the green cloud there since the market bottom in April. But very well-defined overhead resistance here on this one, up around the 92 level, which has been rejected on a number of occasions this year. And one thing we look at with support and resistance levels, well, really two things. Which direction did price test the level from? So in other words, did it come from below? In this case, we have a number of occurrences where price rotated from lower price levels up into that level. Okay, and then what was the price reaction this subsequently, right? What was the subsequent price action? In this case, we have very um, dramatic sell-offs from this level. It looks like we're in the early phases of one now. After that level is one resistance is once again being retested. So I think a great sell signal. Let's see, there's some minor support, and as I mentioned, this is the case with a lot of stuff right now. Right at current price levels. So you can see prior resistance, turn support being tested right here. So this is why I think this is a nice sell signal. If we reach a suggested entry price, that would require us to break support. And if that occurs, I think from there's some good downside potential on this one. All right, next one came in is Microsoft. All right, so no bullish or bearish divergence. We pretty much on most symbols I've looked at in the last, few weeks, we exited bullish. It's again probably too faint to see. We had some minor bullish divergence here back in August and September, maybe in October, it looks like. It's a very faint cloud. Our divergence cloud indicator uh, prints levels of divergence depending on the color depth of the cloud. So like these very dark clouds is strong bullish divergence. Had a great buy signal back here in April. So yeah, no bullish or bearish divergence, but we actually have a pending sell signal that came in today. We had previous one back here at the end of October. Pretty strong double top formation here. And then we took out some key areas of support and a major century mark level, 500 level. And then we took out this early September pivot. And there. Okay, so let's go over to the dashboard and see where the entry. Okay, so this, yeah, shows a pending sell, suggested entry at 47 or 475.50. Okay, so that's going to be just below the session low here. And yeah, I think a great sell signal if we get a follow through to the downside because there's really not much in the way of support in Microsoft till closer to the 460 level. Yeah, this is a major pivot, bearish pivot back in mid-July, and likely to be retested if we get downside follow through. But here in this case, we haven't really stalled out on today's close at support. So again, if we break today's session lows to the downside, I think we're likely to see probably another 10, 15 handle downside move in Microsoft. Kumar asked, how can we get these signals and do they work on shorter time frames? Yeah, I'll let you know how you can get access to these. Here's when we wrap up in just a few minutes. I'll give you all the instructions. And yeah, they do work on intraday as well. Yep, you can do intraday time frames inside the dashboard. We have 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 45-minute charts. We also have broker integrations. So our select brokers, we're working on thicker swim because that, TD Ameritrade got bought up by Schwab. So we're working on getting that reestablished. But we also integrate with TradeStation and Tradier. Or we offer data through Quote Media if you don't want to use the broker integration, which is what I'm using right now. But yeah, I'll let you know in here in just a second. Just want to make sure I get through as many of these as I can. Let's see. Dan asked for CRUS, which is Cirrus Logic. All right. Zoom in a little bit here. Yeah. So don't currently have any open signals, although we had a sell forecast, again, white diamond above the candle on October 30th. That one triggered 2 sessions later on November 3rd. This is a nice sell signal. Reason it's not open technically is the trailing stop was hit. Looks like on November 12th. But we haven't received an opposing signal, a buy signal. So depending on how you trade these, if you're using the trailing stops, this one would have been taken out for a nice profit back on November 12th. Entry would have been up around, looks like probably close to 131. So technically no open signals, no bullish or bearish divergence. But like a lot of things, this one closed at a key support level, prior resistance. You can see the pivot back here. And then from there, zoom out a little bit. Looks like we've got some minor support down around 109, and then 107. Is this pivot here? So on continued downside follow through, watch that kind of 107 to 109 zone for support. If that breaks down, then I think there's significantly more downside potential. But as far as today's session, we did take out a pretty big pivot from October 10th. There's that October 10th sell-off, which actually was a nice Nice sell signal there prior to that on October 7th. Yeah, so no current open signals or bullish or bearish divergence on Cirrus. Let me just check time. Okay. Let's see, the next one was SNEX. This is StoneX. Looks like we actually are still, it's probably too faint to see again on your end, but still in minor bearish divergence. There's a faint divergence cloud behind it. Let's see, we had a nice sell signal back on October 27th. In we were in more strong bullish, or sorry, bearish divergence. Um, Looks like we got some pretty strong support down around the 84 handle. So there's been some consolidation since early November. That's managed to serve as pretty strong support this month. So let's see, today's low 84.09. This one was on the nose 84. It's like some of these were right around that as well. So that's the level I would watch for support is 84. If that breaks down, looks like there's some uh, fairly strong support down between the 80 and 82.50 levels. So that's where I would watch for the next area of support if we continue to rotate lower and break through that 84 handle. And then from there, if that breaks down, the 80 level breaks down, you can see that was the major pivot from back on August 6th. Then I would say there's a significant downside potential from there on the break of that 80 level. Uh, but otherwise, overall, if we go back to late April, really range bound. So we're just at the lower channel of that range at this point, right? Pretty range bound though. All right. So it looks like I only have a couple minutes left. So I will leave it at that and let you know how you can get access to our Zillion dashboard. Um, and by the way, I don't know if I mentioned or if David did, but I'm with Altos Trading. So I'm the chief investment strategist at Altos Trading. So our website is just altostrading.com. And if you're interested in our proprietary algorithms and the Zillion dashboard, you can go to zillion.altostrading.com/now. We actually have a whole a workshop class on the dashboard so you can learn more about it, and then also gain access to the dashboard from here. We have our order form down below, and we actually have a whole package around this product with training and education and all kinds of cool stuff. So that's the link. And then the link just to our main website is altostrading.com. We offer other indicators, trade alert services, courses, coaching. So you can go check out our website. I'm also a hedge fund manager, so I do manage capital for my clients. You can learn more about the hedge fund and all kinds of cool stuff. So just want to, and David got the links in there for you. So thanks, David. So thanks for attending today. It was great to have you guys here. It's always fun to do these, and I always wish I had more time, but thanks for having me, David. It's always a pleasure. I'll pass it back to you.